a gallon for fuel? Are y'all crazy? Are y'all crazy? What is going on?
Americans are feeling the strain as petrol prices climb above $1.8 per liter, the highest since 2022.
Driving in America is now luxury. Oh my God. How are we going to survive here?
It's no longer news that the long war for the past few weeks, months that's been going on between the United States of America versus Iran has actually caused more harm than good. And this has really affected not just these two countries as America or Iran, but also the continent of Africa at large. All over the countries in the continent of Africa are feeling the heat. Down there in America, they are feeling the heat. Iran are really overheating as we speak. And what we want to ask, when is this whole thing going to die down? Even though Trump and Iran has just recently come to an agreement to cease fire for some time, I think a week or thereabouts, then reach possible resolutions, whether they are going to continue or not. That aside, we are going to be focusing on today's episode on how it has affected the general public, the masses, black, white, different colors, different races in America, in Iran, in Dubai, all over the world at large, and particularly in Africa, because mind you, in case you do not know, this has also affected Africa greatly in the price of petrol, of fuel, diesel. In fact, every mineral resources that has already been a thing that are always imported and exported out of this country is currently lacking and has caused a massive increase in price. Americans are crying and wailing. So many people are crying and wailing. But at the end of the day, what is going to be the fate and the end of this whole war between these countries? Welcome back to this episode. And you guys, these videos I'm about to react to, or we're about to take a look at, are for exposition, educational purposes, and enlightenment purposes to keep you on the know of the recent trend, current trend on the world news, Africa news, based on what we have going on for this one, United States of America and Iran. So let's take a look at how people of different color and race all over the world are reacting. Feel free to air your view, your opinion in the comment section, constructively and respectfully, of what you think, what you can possibly advise, deduce from this war between America and Iran. As an African, non-African, or whomsoever you are listening to the sound of my voice. Once again, thank you for tuning in. This channel is going to keep you educated, well informed on recent trends up on socials, based on what we are definitely going to be showing here. So if you like this space, this is where you want to be. Do not forget to stay subscribed by hitting on the subscription button, and I'm sure going to see you at the end of these reactions. Let us take a look at this.
It's absolute madness.
Disturbing.
I agree with Trump. I like him.
I think the man's doing the right thing.
According to me, it's a war crime.
Well, I'm part of civilization, and so are you. So is he, by the way.
There is no reason to wipe out civilization.
Well, I mean, I don't think a whole civilization is going to end, but I think he's exactly right that something needs to change.
Killing people and destroying a civilization is not the answer.
As far as I see it, Trump did the right thing.
It's disappointing to see that. I hope he changes his mind.
It's very concerning to put the public in an alarming state.
Iran gets a nuke, forget it. The world will go to hell.
Get over it. We got a country to save.
It is absolutely wild for a US president to say a whole civilization will die tonight, never to be brought back again. It's wild because the US can execute on that threat. It's wild because Trump says it probably will. We'll find out tonight. And it's wild because if you take his statement literally, he's talking about committing genocide. So he has to be bluffing, right? Tuesday will be Power Plant Day and Bridge Day all wrapped up in one. Open the effing straight, you crazy bastards, or you'll be living in hell.
We have a plan, because of the power of our military, where every bridge in Iran will be decimated, where every power plant in Iran will be out of business, burning, exploding, and never to be used again.
That right there, we should all understand as the core of Trump's ultimatum, that what he sees as the death of a whole civilization is not just an attack on any one system, it's the methodical destruction of the connective tissue that links systems. Attacking power plants, energy, it's an attack on the fuel that drives everything else. Business, the military, hospitals. Attacking bridges isn't just infrastructure. It's crippling the ability to deliver weapons, medicine, food. When Trump threatens completely obliterating possibly all desalination plants, he's threatening the very drinking water of Iran itself. So this must be a bluff, because the intentional targeting of civilian infrastructure risks being prosecuted as a war crime. Because what Trump is threatening isn't just war on a regime, it's war on its people. And because Trump must know what he's yet to publicly acknowledge, which is the risk that crossing such a red line only further hardens the regime, creates a kind of strategic blowback that doesn't make the enemy give up, it makes the enemy an enemy for life. Trump, of course, will either know all of this or have been told all of this, and he's gambling that he's getting closer and closer to Iran's breaking point. But the one thing he may not know is where this breaking point actually is. And in a worst-case scenario, given the current state of things, whether Iran will ever stop calling his bluff.
$5 a gallon for fuel? Are y'all crazy? Are y'all crazy? What is going on?
Americans are feeling the strain as petrol prices climb above $1.8 per liter, the highest since 2022.
Driving in America is now luxury. Oh my God. How are we gonna survive, yeah? How? $4? Oh my God. No.
Across the country, frustration is growing. Some are protesting the government's decisions, including its war on Iran, blaming it for rising fuel and living costs.
A lot of us didn't vote for it and don't want to be in a war and don't want to be paying high gas prices for apparently no reason with no strategy.
Drivers say they're cutting back, changing habits, and struggling to manage tighter budgets.
I need my car to work. The majority of the money I make doing that, I have to put it back in my car.
And it's messing with a lot of people in different ways, money-wise, and it's just unfair to all of us. It doesn't matter if you're Democrat or Republican. It's everybody.
Even among U.S. President Donald Trump's supporters, there are signs of division. While some remain loyal, others are voicing concern as the economic impact hits their wallets.
It was my decision, and I wouldn't support him no more, though. You got crude oil, you got liquid natural gas, and you got fertilizer. And without that, the world is probably gonna end up in a chaotic state.
What do you think about gas prices, Mother?
I don't have a problem with gas prices.
So you're fine with them being high as long as it's under Trump?
No, because they're really not high to me.
Meanwhile, Trump has downplayed the crisis, saying the U.S. is less dependent on the Strait of Hormuz and protected by domestic oil production.
Remember, because of our Drill a Baby Drill program, America has plenty of gas. We have so much gas. Under my leadership, we are #1 producer of oil and gas on the planet.
But analysts warn the risks remain. Energy experts, including those at the American Automobile Agency and the International Energy Agency, say a prolonged conflict could push fuel prices even higher. As costs rise, so does public unease across the country.
We're going to win so much, you may even get tired of winning. And you'll say, please, please, it's too much winning. We can't take it anymore.
So how are you feeling about the Iran war?
I just feel like they're doing all of this to basically cover for the Epstein files. Like, we're not fooled. We know what's going on. They're doing this. They don't want to admit the truth. So you start a war to distract all of the American citizens from what's going on right now. Yeah. And it's just ridiculous. Like, I'm actually ashamed, a little bit embarrassed to be calling myself an American with everything that's going on. This is not how America should be. People should come over here to have free lives, independent lives, live their lives, do whatever they want to do. People come to this country to make their dreams come true, not to be locked up in a concentration camp. Like, that's not normal. We literally have concentration camps right now in Texas. That's not normal at all. And they're using the media to distract us from all of that and make us forget. And we shouldn't. We all need to pay attention to what's going on right now in the world.
Wow, thank you.
So people living in the United States are now starting to feel the effects of the war in Iran, and I'm here to explain to you how. So we saw Donald Trump over Easter weekend make a pretty belligerent post on social media telling Iran to open the strait or face consequences. I will explain what the strait is in just a second. He was threatening to bomb civilian infrastructure if they don't reopen it, which, by the way, I told y'all this was going to happen. Back in June of 2025, I said Iran will likely move to close the Strait of Hormuz. Actually, go ahead and run the clip.
Iran could block or disrupt the Strait of Hormuz. This is where 20% of global oil passes.
Now let's actually talk about what this means, because a lot of Americans are confused and this is bigger than people realize. First, what even is the Strait of Hormuz? It is a narrow waterway between Iran and the Arabian Peninsula, and it's one of the most important choke points in the world. And a choke point is essentially a narrow route that a huge amount of global trade has to pass through. So if one country like Iran controls it, they can slow it down, restrict it, or shut it off completely. And that gives them leverage over the entire global economy. About 20% of the world's oil supply passes through that one strip of water. So when Iran threatens or actually moves to close it, they're not just making a regional decision, they're affecting the globe. Okay. Now we're going to talk about why Iran would do this. So from their perspective, this is leverage. Okay. Iran has been dealing with heavy U.S. sanctions, military pressure, ongoing regional tension for years. So closing or even threatening to close the strait is a way of saying, okay, if you want to economically strangle us, I'm going to economically strangle everybody, okay? So now let's talk about why Donald Trump is reacting the way that he is, because this hits the U.S. where it actually hurts. Oil prices go up, gas prices go up, shipping costs go up, inflation goes up. And here's the part that people aren't connecting. Trump literally campaigned on lowering the prices of everything, especially gas. That was one of his biggest selling points. But now his decision to escalate both a physical and economic conflict with Iran is doing the exact opposite. It's driving the prices up. So even if the United States, which I'm hearing this a lot, oh, the United States doesn't even get most of its oil directly from that region anymore, the global market still does. We are a part of that market. Oil is priced globally. So if the supply gets disrupted anywhere in the world, not even our direct supply, prices go up everywhere, because countries that do get it from the Strait of Hormuz, they rely on that region. They start competing for other sources, and that drives the prices up across the board, including here. So when he's saying open the strait, he's not just being dramatic. He's reacting to the fact that this move can destabilize the global energy markets fast. And this is also a part of a larger pattern of economic warfare, not just bombs, not just troops, but sanctions, trade restrictions, and control over resources. So when people ask, why would Iran do this? The better question really is, when a country is pushed economically and politically for years, how do things escalate? Global conflicts escalate, and it's not always with immediate war. Sometimes it's pressure points like this. And if this continues, you are going to feel it at the gas pump, at the grocery store, in everyday prices. This is what global politics actually looks like. Not just speeches, not just elections and voting and decisions. This will ripple into your daily life.
So from what you can see, based on the reactions of individuals, of media houses, video credit to all these people airing their views and their opinion, you can see that some people are actually not in support of what America and Iran are going on with right now based on the war between them. You've seen how they are expressing their disappointment, their pain, in fact, how it is really affecting them as individuals, as companies, as powerhouses, as organizations, and on. And the question is, will Trump really accept defeat, or is it definitely going to back down? Remember, there is a saying that says peace is priceless and terror is senseless. Most times you want to ask, what is the need for wars? What is the need for war? As an individual, you might want to ask, what is the need? For me, personally, if you think it is wise to go at war, to prove superiority in power as people, as country, comment below. If you think also it's unwise, also share in the comments. And you personally listening to me, based on all you've seen here, what do you think and what do you deduce and sum up from everything you have seen here? I would love to hear your feedback down there in the comments. Thank you once again for stopping by. I do appreciate your candid love and support. Keeping it real again in my next episode. Please do not forget to stay subscribed and turn on the bell notification so that you always be notified when new episodes pop up here on this channel. We are always focused on educating, updating you on the recent and current trends of what is happening all over the world in the continent of Africa. These videos are in no means in any way put out there to cause rift, tension, to demote, demean, demarcate anyone, any country, but for information, educational, and enlightenment purposes. I still remain your host. Thank you once again for watching. Till I see you in my next one. Bye-bye.